by my ass.
I'm on my floor. Bonjour, Monsieur Pussycat.
Cracking toast, Robert.
Start spreading the news.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the short podcast about short films. I am your host, and we are discussing the Academy Award for Best Animated Short. Today's episode is about the 77th year of the award at the 81st Academy Awards, which celebrates the films of 2008. Today's guest is back for the third time. You last heard her discussing Crack and the nominees of 1981. Please welcome back Madelyn Moss. Hello, Madelyn.
Yay, hello.
Hello. It's an honor to
Yay.
have you back.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Gonna be so fun talking about these 5 nominees this year.
Yeah.
But first, just remind us, what is your familiarity with the Best Animated Short category?
Not a ton, but I'm gonna try to be better and not just ignore this category.
Hey, we are heading into Oscar season, so it's like soon enough we'll have 5 more nominees that you
Yeah.
can surely definitely watch.
Oh, definitely. It's just, like I said, the last couple times I tend to focus a lot on features over shorts, and I want to try to balance it out a little bit more, but we'll see.
Mhm. And it's like we've always got like those like the theatrical screenings of the short every year, so but set aside some time in your day if you see one of those screenings, just go
Yeah.
check them out.
Yeah. They
They'll-
always
they'll be
have like
fun.
a showcase and stuff like in January or February, so
Yeah,
I look forward to that.
live action documentary, who cares? You can skip those, but
Yeah.
animated shorts, you gotta check them out.
Well, yeah, animated shorts tend to be a little more creative too.
Hence why I'm doing this and why
Yeah.
I'm not going to focus on live action documentary after
Yeah.
I finish this.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just get into this. But before we even discuss the animated short nominees, this podcast is very short film centric, but there is also a best animated feature category at the Academy Awards. So, to be fair to them, Madelyn, I will list off the names of the nominees for best animated feature this year, and I want you to tell me in just one word what you think of them, or simply say you haven't seen it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
First, we have the winner, which is WALL-E.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, one by one.
One by one. Yeah, I do enjoy WALL-E. My only problem with
I said one word,
WALL-E.
Madelyn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I enjoy WALL-E, but I do have some issue with it.
That's not one word. But okay, we're
Yeah.
moving on. Number 2 is Bolt.
Cute.
Number 3, we have Kung Fu Panda.
Fun.
Great. Now we'll move
Yay.
on to the nominees we actually want to talk about. The first nominee and the year's winner is La Maison and Petit Cube, or The House of Small Cubes, directed by Kunio Kato. This is Kato's first and only nomination, and he follows a similar path to many nominees and winners in this category. He graduated from Tama Art University in 2001 with a degree in graphic design, but spending his free time making animation. And he first made a film called Roboting while at university. And with these animations from university, he got a job in 2001 at a company that happened to be called Robot. It's like a little parallel with his the film he made. And there
Oh.
he made his first major film called The Apple Incident, followed by A Traveler's Diary, also called The Diary of Tortov Roddle, and then followed it up with today's Oscar winner. The House of Small Cubes originated from ideas Kato had back at Tama Art University and was only rediscovered after being asked by Robot to contribute a film to a program called Pieces of Love. Kato had these illustrations of cube houses, and his collaborator, writer Kenya Hirata, started developing the story, and together, discussing the film back and forth, eventually developed the whole film. The film was bigger than his previous projects, with one source saying that while his previous films took 2 to 4 months to make, Small Cubes took 2 to 4 months just to get the story developed. Last year, we discussed Alexander Petrov's trouble adjusting from largely solo projects to directing a team, and Kato felt similarly having trouble communicating his ideas to his collaborators. But unlike Petrov, Kato's feelings never went away. The whole crew is frustrated with Kato because of his insistence on doing a large amount of drawing, animating, and shading in pencil rather than using digital methods, which really ballooned the production time. And Cato was frustrated because he kept noticing flaws with the film that were really just too it was just too late to go back and fix them, such as how calm the rising water is, especially after the infamous 2011 earthquake and tsunami that devastated
Mm.
Japan. Like Cato was just never satisfied, right, even after completing the film. And that problem only worsened when the film became a huge hit. He thought all the success was unearned and it fell into a deep creative slump. All these people wanted to work with him after his Oscar win, but he couldn't bring himself to work on anything. It took 4 years before Cato made anything else, a series of art installations called Scenes in 2012, as well as a few shorts based on Frog and Toad, also for a museum exhibition. In the end, his experience making Small Cubes made him realize he didn't want to make another film like Small Cubes, and retreated back into his more personal solo projects. He wanted to make good films, but didn't want the world's eyes on his films. And I'm happy Mr. Cato has made his peace. Let's move on to the film itself, shall we? The House of
Yeah.
Small Cubes is about an old man living in a world of ever rising sea levels. When the water starts coming into his room, he builds a new layer of his house to stay above the water. However, in the process, he drops his pipe into the lower layers of his home and decides to swim down through the house to get it, and ends up reminiscing on his life as he descends through his house into the past. Madeline, what did you think of today's winner?
Oh, it's sweet. I don't have like a ton to say about it, but I think without like, spoiling our rankings, but I think they were right this year. Uh, just in how sentimental this short is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably one of the more famous winners of this category because I remember I told you about this before we recorded, but I remember like watching this film on like Netflix or something
Yeah.
back way before I was even like into this category or into films or anything. I just remember seeing it on Netflix and watching it and just be like, damn, this is a really good little film. And it's just like I feel like that's happened to a lot of people. Like this is really the start of the era where it's just like we get a lot of short films that are like widely available digitally, things like Hair Love
Yeah.
and it's just like and so yeah, I think and also this is just such a great winner that of course it became so popular. Like I'm sorry to Mr. Cato. I know you don't like this film that much, but I think it's kind of amazing. I think
Yeah.
it is such a beautifully potent way. Like it the just a simple idea of like creating this like house that's like you have to keep building it above the water, and so you just have these little sections that each represent a different point in your life. It's just like and to go down through them, it's just like it's like a it's like a weird kind of like a photo book or something. It's just like he just gets to travel back in time. It's just like it's such a beautiful idea. It kind of makes me mad that it's like this hasn't been an idea before. It's just like
Yeah.
this is just so perfect.
It kind of reminded me of that part in Ponyo when the town's flooded. Um,
Yeah.
a little bit just because I'm like, oh yeah, and I kind of picture like also imagine if they like well if it didn't end up getting drained, like would they keep building layers of their house like taller and taller, and then it I don't know, it for something in 2008 also it kind of speaks to kind of like climate change crisis too.
Hmm.
Like in a very poignant way though, like it's just like well I have to keep building my house in order to stay above water. So yeah, I don't know, it's lovely. I feel bad knowing that he's not satisfied with it, but
Hmm.
I really like it.
Yeah, it's like the climate change thing especially. I feel like part of me feels like that wasn't even really like an idea like when they were
Right.
making this film, but it's just like it's just something that like has become ever present. It's like
Yeah.
it's a fear that's constantly cited like when we
Yep.
talk about like climate change, the rising sea levels. And so it's just like it's just it's kind of just imagining a world where like that is just the reality where it's just
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but but yeah, this is just such a beautiful film. It's one that's stuck in my mind ever since I did first watch it way back when, and it's just like the imagery in this film is so potent. Like I love the character designs. And it's like I just want to say it's like I know this is a Japanese movie, but the title is in French, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and sometimes I'm like, why is the title in French? But then it's like when you look at the film, it feels very French. So it's just like
Yeah,
maybe that's part of it.
the art style kind of reminds me of like a French animation
It's
thing.
very like Professor Layton or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and all the events in his life too. It's just like it's really, really sweet. And I was reading a bunch of letterbox reviews of people who cried and they were like, my tears were the one that flooded the town and stuff. Like totally makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It's it's really, really like poignant and lovely. They were definitely right in choosing this. Sorry, Kato, that you're not satisfied, but I think it's great and I think you should be proud of it, but whatever.
My favorite part of like his memories or whatever, which like they're all emotional, but I
Yeah.
thought it was funny when it's just like the old guy that we're following. It's like he wasn't really keen on meeting like his daughter's new boyfriend or whatever, and then it just goes to them getting married or whatever. It's just like
Yeah.
you can tell he's very hesitant, but it's like he came around on them. He liked them. It's like
I I was surprised that this predated Up kind of because
oh
I
yeah.
feel like well, maybe not in structure, but like, and a kind of vaguely similar idea, just
Yeah,
not
like the
with
beginning.
balloons. Yeah, but you're still going higher, your house is going higher and such. And then all the poignant backstory and stuff like that. I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait, this predates Up.
Well, now
So
I'm just gonna I'm looking up who made Up real quickly. Pete Doctor, you have you
yeah.
have blood on your hands. That's not what I
Yeah, you
meant.
fraud. I'm just kidding.
You stole it. You stole fizzy lifting drinks.
He stole the idea.
Anyway,
But yeah, I don't know. It's really sweet.
and also just the way that it's like it tells the story backwards. It's like that's a underutilized idea. And it's just like, and even when it is
Yeah.
utilized, it's not done very well. I'm sorry, Merrily, we roll along. Just don't do it well. Um,
I'm a fan.
it's okay. It's just one of my Sondheim hot takes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like does like the reverse storytelling really well.
Yeah, I feel like it can be hard to pull that off, honestly.
It is really hard to pull it off.
Yeah.
It's just like, but and also just off of that, it is just like when we get to the end of it, when he's at the bottom of the house and whatever, or as just like part of me like I didn't really remember how this film ended, so part of me was expecting he just kind of stayed down there, like he just let himself die at the bottom of the house,
Or he
but no,
just
he
chilled.
swims back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. He just chills down there for a while and
Mhm.
then swims back up. But
Shouldn't have
yeah.
smoked that shit. Now I'm at the bottom of the house of
Yeah,
small
now
cubes.
now I'm now I'm in the house of small cubes.
But yeah, anything else you'd like to say about this film, Madeline?
I mean, not really. It's just like go watch it. It's cute. It's really sweet. It tugs at your heartstrings. It's pretty to look at. Like it's just an all-around good short.
hmm one of the short films of all time.
Yeah, literally.
Let's move on to our second nominee, which is Lavatory Lovestory, directed by Konstantin Bronzent. This is Bronzent's first Oscar nomination, and he got his start in the animation world, getting an arts degree in 1983 and making educational films for children in the 1980s. Then he went back to school in the 90s, got degrees in both industrial design and screenwriting, a strange pairing, then started making better, more prestigious animated films, as well as working as a screenwriter. He made several short films in the 90s and 2000s, with At the Ends of the Earth being the most widely renowned, garnering wins at Annecy and Zagreb film festivals and a César nomination. And that film got him in contact with Melnitsa Animation Studio, the biggest studio of its kind in Russia, and got to make a feature film in 2004 called Alesha Popovich and Tugar and the Dragon. After that film's rush production but commercial success, Bronzett turned his eyes back towards short films, and today's nominee was his very next film. I'll save what's left about Bronzett for his next nomination, so for now, Lavatory Lovestory is about a woman working as an attendant in a men's restroom. She is lonely and yearns for touch and affection, and one day, an unseen man leaves flowers for her, making her desperate to find out who the mysterious stranger is. So, I'm going to start off this by saying just like I really enjoy how kind of mean this film is, like how kind of sad it is, because it's like with this setup, it's like a woman gets left flowers by a mysterious stranger. You think that this is going to be, oh, it's just going to be so romantic. She's going to be so flattered by the flowers. But no, this she becomes immediately like kind of angry that like all the men who are passing by aren't the one who gave her the flowers. It's like that all of them are like disinterested in her, and then she becomes like really depressed. It's like, oh, what if this guy just never comes back? And it's just like it's very funny how just like how unromantic this whole thing kind of is. It's just like, but I really liked it. It's just like I really felt for the woman here. It's just like I don't know. She reminds me of me, but it's just like
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know if this is like more implied, but I feel like part of her thinks like like someone's not being so serious about this. They're doing it to almost make fun of her for being still single or something.
yeah,
And
she thinks it might be a prank.
yeah, I kind of relate, honestly, because anytime somebody is like doing something affectionate for me, I'm like, is this a joke? Like,
Mhm.
are you messing with me? Which is kind of sad, honestly. But like, I do real not as much as the House of Small Cubes, but I do like kind of the minimalist art style of
Oh
this
yeah.
too. I don't know, it reminds me of like old, not old, but like 90s and early 2000s cartoons. I don't know, like it has that kind of look that it could be on like a Cartoon Network or something.
Mhm.
um yeah.
Yeah, I really like the art style too. I like how it's all like just a series of lines. It's just
Yeah,
like with the random bits of color with the flowers. It's like
with
it's very minimalist and good.
yeah,
But
it makes it pop. But one of the things I said to myself, like when it ends and she finally finds the guy and they're in the stall, I'm like, did they have sex?
and she kind of forced herself on him. It's just like this is just a guy with flowers. You don't know that was the
Did they
right guy.
did they fuck? Like,
I'm pretty sure they fucked. But then
like, it's
it's
an
like
implied.
but I also really like the ending where I think it's implied that the guy was like the attendant for the women's restroom and like he was leaving her those flowers. And so they're working together in the men's restroom. And then it goes over to the other side where there's a help wanted sign.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of cute. And they're reading the Happy Women newspaper magazine together. It's really adorable.
and also
Um,
that fucking magazine, just happy woman.
yeah, it's like her like go wash her face kind of thing. Like you're gonna be happy with yourself, girl. I assume also she's like probably like what, in her 30s or 40s, I
Mhm.
assume, just because of, she's looking at pictures of young girls that are in couples and she's like, fuck me, I hate being single.
And it's also
um
being like, fuck me.
yeah, literally. I swear they had to have had sex in there because everybody looks out of
Yeah,
the stall when that happens, and
it's
I'm
funny
just
how there's
like,
just people in every stall.
I
They're just
know,
like,
like,
look.
damn, okay. And then and isn't it like a mayo jar? Like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't like I guess it was like pay to entry, but it's just like I've never seen a restaurant like that where you have to
I feel like that's such a European thing because,
probably.
like we don't, I feel like other places in Europe have those for sure, because that's the that's the basis of the premise off Urinetown. This is the Urinetown in a CAU. And yeah, I find it funny. I find some of it kind of like maybe not darkly funny, but desperation to find like if this is a actually like a person who's trying to woo her, or if this is a person that's being mean and playing a joke, basically, because she's just like going up to all these guys like, is it you? Is it you? Basically. So yeah, it's cute. It's a cute short.
It is really cute. I enjoyed it, and it's like for some like so I of course I've seen these films before. For some reason on my first watch of this, I gave this 2.5 stars, and like watching it now, I don't understand why. I really like this, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's nice. I think I gave it 3.5 just because it's like cute, but like not incredible, I guess.
Yeah,
So I mean, I might raise it if I think about it more because it is good. It's really good.
yeah. Anyway, I think that's a good place to move on to our
Yep.
third nominee, which is Oktapodi, directed by Julien Bocabiel, Francois Xavier Chenu, Olivier Delabarre, Thierry Marchand, Quentin Monnier, and Émile de Mocberry. There were 6 directors on this film, but only 2 were allowed to get a nomination. So this marks the first and only nominations for Thierry Marchand and Émile de Mocberry. So rather than try and pick out 1 or 2 people and try to cobble together some story for them, I'll talk about the real driving force behind this film, Gobelin School of the Image, a French art school famous for its animation program. The school has produced many notable alumni, including Pierre Coffin, the creators of the Minions, Thomas
Oh,
Romain, co-creator of the show Code Lyoko, Bertrand
cool.
Mandico, the director of The Wild Boys, and many filmmakers at DreamWorks Studios, including Bible Bergeron, Christophe Saran, Simon Otto, and Pierre Perifel. France has a rather large chunk of the animation industry within it, and Goblin School gives its students a direct line into that industry. And part of that curriculum, I imagine, involves several students coming together and making a short film, learning how to work as a team like you do in the studio system and not just as a lone filmmaker making animation by yourself. Maybe Kunio Kato could have used this school. Uh, um, and there are several short films that the studio has made, but this is the only one that has gotten an Oscar nomination. And now, if we do want to briefly mention the accomplishments of the specific animators on Oktapodi, I'll say that Julien Bocabiel is an animator on many DreamWorks films, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him take the director's chair there soon. And Quentin Marmier seems to have a cozy position at Industrial Light and Magic as a digital artist. Anyway, sorry to all the French names.
That's
Not
okay.
really that sorry, but I probably butchered all of them. But anyway, Oktapodi is about 2 octopi swimming in a tank until one gets stolen. Not wanting its love to be eaten, the other octopus escapes to save it. This leads to an intense battle with the truck driver through the streets of Greece. Madeline, what did you think of Oktapodi?
Grand Theft Octo. That's what I thought.
That's a
I
good one.
um, I liked the humor a lot. It was just the animation style was hard for me to really like grasp. I don't know, because I I don't know, like the human looks really, really weird. I like the creativity of it though, like especially when they're like jumping from pool to pool to get to the ocean and stuff. Because I like Greece.
Mhm.
I'm a Greekaboo. Um,
Mamma mia.
but I mean it's fine. It's not like a bad short. It's kind of funny. But the only thing about it I don't love is the it's just the style of it, but I like the humor. So
Yeah, I actually like the way it looks. I enjoy like the animation on the octopi. I like the world. I even like the way the guy looks. It's like I think it's like it's very clearly like a student film. They don't have the best like
right.
technology or whatever, but I don't think it look I think it looks good for like what they had. It's not like gorgeous or anything. It's no House of Small Cubes, but I think it works with the way it looks.
I
And
like the octopi look. It was just the human that I was like, he looks so weird.
and also I just want to say that like the first time I watched this, I think it was not long after I watched Finding Dory, and it's just like the main octopus in this reminded me of
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, the guy in Finding Dory. But
Yes. The- Yeah, I like your review of it. It's like, hey, I know that bitch from Finding Dory.
have you been fuck this? But anyway, yeah, I I also just really like the energy it is here because it is like really like
Oh,
action packed. It
it's
is
fast.
it's a fast movie, and it's just like, and in my most recent review of this, I talk about how like this guy he's just doing his normal job, just like grabbing octopus and delivering it, and in less than 2 minutes, he is crashing his car into the ocean trying to kill some octopi.
Yeah, I would have let them go at that point. It's just like, oh well, we don't have any octopi anymore. Like,
Yeah, it's just like this guy was just like having a bad day, and this
yeah,
was the final straw. It's just like, that's it.
that's it. I can't deal anymore. He's losing his customers to not having octopi. Um,
Maybe this has
and
happened before.
yeah. Um, and it's almost kind of funny how like at the end one of them gets stolen again, if only it's the other one. So
Yeah,
then
gets taken by a seal, and the other one like uses the clothesline that they're on and like tries using it as a slingshot and like cuts to credits.
yeah, it's
Great.
like the chase never ends. Grand Theft Octo. Um,
Exactly. And it's like my one problem with this is that I think it's way too short.
oh
And
yeah, it's way too
it's
short.
like again, this is a student film. This is probably all they could do within a semester or whatever. But I really wish this was longer because
Yeah,
this is so fun for what we have, but it feels like it just ends out of nowhere. And it's just like we could have I wish there was more to this.
I wish it was the length of like maybe a Looney Tunes short, like 8 minutes, because
Yeah.
I feel like then it probably would have felt a little more like had a little more meat to it for
Mhm.
me. And I probably would have just gotten over the animation style and not really being a fan and just like loving the fact that, like I said, I feel like it is similar to like a Warner Brothers or an MGM cartoon, honestly, because of the chase sequence and such.
Yeah, like it's very much just like a really fun chase scene. It's like they could do a lot more like jokes like in that chase scene, but it's just like they just don't have the time to do that.
Right,
So it's
right,
just like
yeah.
it's just how it is. And again, I really like this one, but at the same time, it's just so short. I can't like it that much.
Yeah,
But yeah,
pretty much.
still really good. Still, I'm glad this got nominated. Any final thoughts for you, Madeline?
Um, no, other than Grand Theft Octo, I'm gonna
Grand
repeat that
Theft
because I think
Octo.
it's funny.
Well, then we'll move on to our fourth nominee, which is Presto, directed by Doug Sweetland. This is the first and only nomination for Sweetland, and the ninth nomination for Pixar, but fifth consecutive loss for them. Sweetland was hired at Pixar in 1994 as Toy Story was deep in production and quickly became one of their top animators. He got 3 Annie Award nominations and 2 wins for his specific achievements on Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and Finding Nemo. He was also a main figure in the creation of The Incredibles, Cars, and previous nominee in this category, Bounden, uh, before getting the chance to direct his own film. He pitched the idea of a magician who gets dumped by his rabbit and needing to find a new one, only for the new rabbit to get stage fright. But the idea was meant to be one of Pixar's more emotion-leaning shorts, but in development, the short turned into a Looney Tunes Tex Avery-inspired slapstick short film. And just a fun fact, the main magician was designed after William Powell.
Ah,
Yeah,
fun.
many Pixar shorts are meant to bring forth new challenges for the studio, overcoming problems by creating new solutions. And this film had the task of animating a crowd of 2,500 people. The eventual solution involved using the massive software that brought the orc armies to life in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but there was also just a lot of reused models to save time, mainly from Ratatouille, not just for the audience, but also the body of Presto himself is the lawyer from Ratatouille, and even the carrot in the film is one scene in the kitchen in Ratatouille. Immediately after Presto's release, Sweetland left Pixar and joined Sony Pictures. He worked on an adaptation of The Familiars before the project was canceled in 2013. Sweetland then jumped over to Warner Brothers Animation, developing the film Storks, which was not canceled and released in 2016. Since then, Sweetland's been pretty quiet, just jumping around various projects, though I mainly see that he's been doing work on Google Spotlight stories. But enough about him, let's discuss the film. Presto is about a magician's rabbit who is hungry and wants a carrot, but there's little time before the show starts and the magician refuses to feed him. The rabbit essentially goes on strike until he is fed, and antics ensue as the magician tries to force the rabbit through the magic hat. So, first off, I think the gags with the magic hat are really, really fun. It's like
Yes.
this is just a very solid slapstick short where it's just like goes in one hat, comes out the other, and it's like the
Yeah.
rabbit like forces him to like touch electrical wiring or whatever, slams his
Yeah.
hand in the drawer, throws the
Mousetrap,
ladder through
yeah.
the hat. It's just like there's just a lot of fun gravity. And I especially like how with everything that happens, the crowd just goes fucking wild.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is just really
It's
impressive.
still magic, yeah.
It's like he just does have a magic hat.
Yeah.
It's just like the crowd loves it. But yeah, it's just a solid little Pixar short. It's not great or anything, but it's fun for the time we have with it.
I am kind of glad they didn't go with the more emotional route to it, just because I think I like it more as like a silly one of like a rabbit being like, give me a carrot and I'll stop putting your hands in mouse traps and in the drawer and stuff. So, I had seen this before actually, because I've seen probably probably like it played before Wall-E, I think. So
Yes.
I think yes. So I've definitely seen this before. And yeah, I do. Speaking of, we had talked about, Looney Tunes, Tex Avery, MGM, like this is very clearly that, like, that's definitely an influence. And I always appreciate that as, someone who's a big fan of that.
Tuck's hair behind your ear. I'm just a big fan of
Yeah, I'm
Looney
just a
Tunes.
big fan. Even though, it's just a solid short. I don't think it's like incredible or like mind-blowing. Like it's definitely not like the best Pixar short ever, but it's still really good and really funny.
Mm-hmm. And I do like how the escalation of everything, it just makes the magician like matter. He like pretends to destroy the carrot, but of course it ends up being like a magic thing. He picks the napkin back and it's not destroyed or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just like, but it's like he just gets really fucking pissed
And
off.
then eventually the whole stage just collapses and he almost dies until the rabbit's like, fine, I'll save you. Jeez.
Like the rabbit had to save his fucking life in order to get a fucking carrot. It's just like, Jesus God.
Unfair to that rabbit. I put on my Letterboxd review, just give him the carrot already.
Mm-hmm. Like this fucking Jeffrey Katzenberg ass magician.
Literally. Is that a secret, like a secret commentary that Doug Sweetland is making? I've never seen Storks, so I can't comment on his other work.
You probably don't need to see Storks.
I probably don't.
I don't think that's that relevant.
No, but like in terms of his other work, other than he did some, other directing on like Monsters Inc. as well. But yeah, but
this is actually about John Lasseter.
The elephant in the room. Always when we're talking about Disney and Pixar stuff, it's just like you. But yeah.
That's what really sucks about doing this category, or at least nowadays. It's just like there's a lot of Pixar here. I have to bring up John Lasseter.
Yeah, boo. This is a John Lasseter hate club. Yeah, it'll be nice when it's like you only had to bring up Jennifer Lee or something, unless she does something absolutely terrible.
Let's not put that into the world.
Yeah, knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood. But yeah, this is a really cute, like, it's there's also I wouldn't be surprised if they liked the there's a Bugs Bunny short that's a little racist because it has like a non-white magician, but it's still funny, I think. I don't think all of it is necessarily racist, but it's still kind of like, oh, they're portraying a
You
non-white
just let
character
in
like
with
this.
that. It's just like, I wonder if they were inspired by this Bugs Bunny short. That's a little racist.
Yeah, it is, but it's funny because I quote it all the time.
There's a lot of magic related shorts that they've done.
Yeah, but that's the one I'm thinking of in particular. Like that's the big one I see on like collections and on HBO and Boomerang and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really solid Pixar short.
Mhm. This reminded me of another short in this category called Magic Fluke. It was a really early film by UPA, where it's just like it has the Columbia Fox and Crow characters, where it's just like one of them was like a band leader, but then got like taken up into the world, and like his former band partner got left behind, and so, but the one that like went up in the world, he becomes a conductor, but he's missing his baton, and so the friend trying to help, get some magicians wanting gifts to him, just like hope the show goes all right, boss. And it's just like, but then it's like it's a magician's wand, so things keep happening, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shorts, or of that decade at least. But it's like, it just reminded me of this.
Yeah.
It's like, or that this reminded me of that. It's
very cute.
We love magic because magic is cinema. Cinema is magic.
I don't have sound for you right now.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I got sound.
Sorry. I'll just repeat that, and I'll try to remember to edit out or edit this part out. Or it's just like I love films about magic because magic is cinema and cinema is magic. All right. So we'll move on to our fifth and final nominee, which is This Way Up, directed by Adam Folks and Alan Smith. This is the first and only nominations for both Folks and Smith, so I'm going to tell their story the way I discovered it, because the only thing I'm given to start with, a glance at the This Way Up wiki, tells me everything I've told you already. The directors, and that it was Oscar nominated. The IMDb page then lets me find out who produced it. That is the BBC and Nexus Studios. I then find Folks and Smith's website. They've apparently been a long-standing animation duo that's been working together since 1996, very similar to last year's Clyde Henry Productions. Outside of this short, they've made loads of commercials, and perhaps their most famous piece of media is The Littlest Elf, which was a short animated segment at the beginning of the film adaptation of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, featuring an elf frolicking through the forest before Jude Law's narration informs us that this is not the film we're watching. Next is an article about how they were signed to a production company called Riff Raff Films last year, then an interview with them, great, about some cancer PSA that they made for Channel 4, not relevant. Finally, I get another interview with them talking about working as a duo, how it really helps them both be creative while never getting lost in their own sauce, always having someone there who can tell them their idea sucks and force them to either defend themselves or accept that the idea is poor. They apparently met at the Royal College of Art and have been working together all that time, just finding a natural gravitation towards one another. And lastly, I find an article about their week at the Oscars, which has the only production information I can find about this film, that being that it was partially funded by Mike Judge. They also remarked that the awards gave them a great sense of British pride. Not because of anything they did, because they lost, but because pretty much every other category that year with a British nominee had a British person winning, mainly in regards to Slumdog Millionaire that year. Or this year, I should say. I'll end this prologue with the last line of the article. The Tuesday after, when they get back home, back to reality, fed the chickens, did the laundry, the glamorous stuff. The kids prepared a red rug for us to walk over when we got home. It's been a great week. It's never going to happen again. Well, it might do, but next time will be different. This Way Up is about two funeral home directors who, after their hearse is destroyed in a Rube Goldberg-like fashion, must walk with the coffin to the graveyard through perilous terrain. Madelyn, what did you think of our final nominee?
Sorry that my audio cut out, but yeah, it's okay. I liked the like the climax of it more than I liked, I guess, the build up to it, like the first, like, what, 2 minutes of it. But I mean, it's kind of like darkly humorous, which I kind of liked, and they're also just having a bad day, like the human in in Oktapodi. Uh, so I don't know. It's like it's not great, but it's like good enough to me.
Mhm. Yeah, like I was kind of like all over the place while watching the film because like it starts off with like I start off really liking it. I like the setup where it's just like, oh, their car gets destroyed, so they have to carry this fucking uh coffin by hand, and it's just I for some reason I don't really like the whole way the car gets destroyed with this like Final Destination
Yeah,
as
like
like
all the things like that domino into it.
yeah, it's like, but whatever. It's just a little setup. And it's like, I like the jokes that we get of them, like going, like when they suddenly look like a deer and get attacked by hunters and
Yeah,
things like
that's
that.
pretty funny.
Yeah, and it's just like, but after a while, I see that this short is 9 minutes long and we're only 3 minutes in. And it's just like, damn, this is a really long short. It feels like it's going to get repetitive. But then they go to hell.
Yeah,
It's like, what the
it looks like Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. Like
for
it
real?
looks like
Like the
Remains of the Day or something.
exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing. And it's just like, but yeah, we just get this whole ass fantasy sequence with like the women in the coffins alive, and they're going down what I imagine is the river Styx or something. But then the two coffin guys like have to row back up, and it's just like it's this really fun sequence, and I like all the skeletons and everything. It's a lot of fun, and then
Yeah.
eventually they fucking crawl out of hell, and just dump the lady into her grave hole. And then it ends with the fucking freeze frame jump ending, which I imagine is like they're just jumping into the grave with her. But
Yeah, they're
I'm
just
not
like,
totally
we're
certain.
done, no more.
Yeah, I'm fucking dead.
Yeah, um
But yeah,
it,
I like this film, but I hate the animation. I
yeah,
wish
I don't love the
I
style of it.
I had remembered this film as being stop motion, and after watching it, I really wish it was stop motion because I think the CG is really ugly. It just doesn't really work. Like it almost works. It
Yeah,
almost has like this specific style that like really vibes with the comedic talents, but there's just something so off that like in a way that just like doesn't gel. It's just distracting me. And it's just
yeah.
like don't
Yeah,
let
because it's not very appealing to the eye either. It's just it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't vibe that well with the story and the plot, and then it's not really nice to look at. So it's just kind of in this weird middle ground of being like, well, it's kind of ugly, but it's not like egregious.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't like 2000s animation, CGI animation. It's not
No,
good,
I
and
understand.
people keep using it in this fucking category.
Yeah,
As it's like you keep having to look at these ugly fucking shorts that aren't good. But this one is good at least.
yeah, it's good. It's just like not amazing.
And next year is going to be the worst of it. The
Oh no.
2009 year is the worst year of this whole category.
Oh no.
But we'll get there when we get there. Just a fun teaser for next week for all you listening at
Yeah.
home.
Oh no.
But but yeah, this was a I liked how inventive this short was. Like the twist at the end with going to hell and everything. But overall, it's like it's just kind of a mixed bag. But overall, I still
Yeah.
pretty much enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, I it's just it's weird because we said Octopodi should have been longer, where I feel like This Way Up should have been shorter,
Mhm.
honestly.
They both should have been like 5-6 minutes,
Yeah.
or maybe they
Yeah,
all should
like 6, I
like
think.
maybe all of these except for House of Small Cues because that's perfect as is.
Yeah,
They all should have been like 8 minutes long.
already 5 minutes, and yeah. So, but yeah, because I think I could have liked the style, especially with how cool the hell sequence is, but like they just don't go.
Yeah. Oh, I think you just cut out for me.
Oh, hello.
Hello? There we are. Yeah, you
Hello.
cut out for me.
Oh, I was just saying like I could have liked it because of the hell sequence, but they just don't go for it really.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just this could have been a lot better as is, but
Yeah.
it's also fine. It's also
Yeah,
good.
it's fine.
But anyway, that we've just gone through our 5 nominees. Well done,
Yay.
Madeline. We got through them, and now we will rank them all. Madeline, start us off with your number 5.
It's the House of Small Cubes. Like, there's no way it was gonna.
Wait, number 5?
Oh, number 5. Oh shit. Sorry. No, my bad. I thought we were going top to bottom. Oops, I am a goof. No, 5 is Oktapodi. I just spoiled my number 1. Sorry, you guys.
We spoiled it when we first started talking
This
about
is
it. Like,
true.
come on,
Yeah.
it's like
The mystery is like how the rest of them rank, honestly.
exactly. My number 5 also Oktapodi. It's like I really liked it, but it's just way too short.
It's short. Yeah.
Number 4.
4 is This Way Up.
All right. My number 4 is Presto. I like it, but it's just like the slapstick can only take you so far.
Oh, yeah.
And number 3.
3 is Presto for me.
My number 3 is This Way Up. It's just like it. I enjoy a lot of it, but also it's kind of too long. But it's also just like it. I have problems with it, but I also have stuff I really like about it. It's just a really mixed bag, but I end up really liking it.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 2.
Lavatory Love Story.
My number 2 is also Lavatory Lovestory. Just a really cute, funny, little romantic movie that's also weirdly angry and depressing.
Yeah.
And then number 1, of course,
The House of Small Cubes.
House of Small Cubes, La Maison en Petit Cube. What a picture.
Yeah, what a picture.
So
Poetic
beautiful.
cinema.
Exactly. We love those small cubes.
Yes.
And before we end our show, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share, Madeline, or anything you'd like to promote?
Just my letterbox at That Odd Chica. That's it. I'm not on Twitter anymore because I want to save my brain worms. But yeah, fun year for shorts.
Really, it's a nice year. It's like none of these I think are all that bad. It's like they're all solid films.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of like the last year we did where, I mean, it was only 3, but they were all pretty solid.
I'm trying to remember what our last year was.
The
That was, oh yeah, it's Crack. That was 1980 something. 81. Yeah, Crack, The
Yeah.
Creation, and Cinderella Penguin.
Cinderella Penguins is Cinderella with penguins.
We need to make the House of Small Penguins.
House of Small Penguins. March of the Small Penguins.
March House of Small Penguins.
Yeah.
The House of the Rising Penguins.
Yes.
Octapenguin.
Octapenguin. Yeah.
Pengsto. This way, Penguin. Lava Penguin, Love Penguin.
Yes.
There we go.
We did it.
There we go. All of these films now need to be made with penguins.
This is true.
Janet Perlman, get on it. We need more penguins.
Yes, we do.
Anyway, thank you, Madeline, for coming on the show.
You.
And thank you, listener, for tuning in. This has been the Short Podcast about short films. Until next time, goodbye.